Okie doke. So soon I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of reading by a philosopher named Richard Taylor, who is going to make the argument to you that there is reason to believe that not only is determinism wrong, but that libertarianism is right. And he's actually going to make the argument by advancing a theory called agency theory. And agency theory says this: we all agree that some events are caused by previous events, right? So a woodcutter hits a tree with an axe. If that event occurs enough time, the tree is going to fall. Or lightning strikes the top. You're out on the golf course and you raise your golf club up and lightning strikes your golf club and boom, you're dead. That event was caused, not by a decision that anyone made. It's just an event that took place. Lightning in the air, you raising the club up in the air, and boom, you're done. So you can sort of see that represented here with this cartoon. Dinosaurs bobbing around, having a good old time until an event occurs that causes another event to occur, their extinction, right? So it's not like somebody chose to send down the meteor that created the dust cloud that blocked the sun and starved all the dinosaurs to death, if that's what happened. There was just an event that happened and it caused other events. And we would agree, libertarians and determinists, that there are some things that happen because of the previous things that have happened. Now, where somebody who promotes agency theory is going to differ, somebody like a libertarian, is they're going to say, yes, not only are some events caused to happen by previous events, but some events are caused by the choices that we make, right? So you can see here, this is the real reason dinosaurs became extinct. They made the choice to smoke. And so here we have sort of combinations of different kinds of causation. Yes, there's an event that's occurring inside the dinosaur's body. They're inhaling this smoke, and then that smoke is having, all kinds of deleterious effects on their lungs, and it's causing their biological being to suffer and eventually die. So there's event causation going on there. But the libertarian is going to say, but there's also some agency causation here, because nobody forced those dinosaurs to pick up the cigarettes and start smoking them. They made that choice. So there's not only event causation here at the sort of biological, physiological level, there's also agency causation here, agent causation here. They made a choice to make something occur that wouldn't have otherwise occurred. Okay? Now, sometimes that interweaving, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, the relationship between event causation and agency causation may be really difficult to disentangle. It's not real clear how much of an event was caused by preceding events and how much of it was caused by the choices that people make. And you can sort of see that displayed here in this cartoon. It's a little tiny animal handing over some plans to aliens for them to initiate a meteor that strikes the earth and eliminates all the bigger predatory animals. And he's saying to the aliens, remember to make it look like an accident, right? So there's this mixture here of, hey, the meteor is going to hit, but the meteor was really this event was set into motion by a choice that the little animal made, all right? One philosopher, Jean-Paul Sartre, advanced what has become termed radical existential freedom. And it's sort of it's this agency theory idea kind of on steroids, okay? And I just want you to think about this and whether or not Sartre is if he's being fair, okay? Is this a fair way to think about your life and the choices you make, given the interplay between event causation and agent causation? Okay, so Sartre was an existentialist, okay? And to get your head wrapped around what that idea is, if you haven't thought about this before, is this. There are some who believe that your essence precedes your existence. There are some who believe that the most important features of your being exist before you really even are a being, right? So your sex, your race, your family, your psychology, your tastes, your predisposition towards things, all of these all of these biological, psychological, and then environmental factors sort of come together to make you you. And if there is some part of you that you craft on your own, it's not as essential to your identity and who you are as these other features of your life. In other words, they would say something like the sum total of your biological, psychological, environmental circumstances is a bigger determiner of your experience of your life than the choices you make. Okay, that would be that theory. Sartre says BS. Okay, Sartre comes through and says no. My existence precedes my essence. In other words, I come into the world and I get to choose who I'm going to be. The essence of who I am is going to come into being as I sort of create my life. I think each individual's life is this individual creation that they have control over. And the essence of who an individual is defined by the choices that they've made in how to create and construct their life and identity. Now, we're going to say, dude, that's hardcore, right? Because when we come into the world, we don't exactly come in as blank slates. There are certain cold, hard facts that are unable to be removed from my identity, my life, and my experience. I didn't get to pick my family. I didn't even get to pick to be born. I didn't get to pick my family. I didn't get to pick my sex. I didn't get to pick my height, my weight. Well, I guess I could choose my weight. I didn't get to pick my height. There's lots of things about who I am that are really important that I didn't choose, right? And Sartre is going to say, okay, yeah, obviously, okay? There are certain facts of your life. He calls this is what we call facticity, Sartre says. There are certain parts of your life that you didn't choose to come into being, but you chose to accept them, right? So for the existentialists, the sort of the coffee house line about how existentialists rolled was this: is you got up today, you had a couple of choices. You could sit and listen to me ramble on in these videos, or you could kill yourself. Okay? And that is a real choice, the existentialists say, that you face every day. Yes, you come into the world, Sartre would say. You wake up in the morning, and there's a certain number of facts that are just there, and they cannot be removed from your life. Maybe you have a disability. Maybe you're in a bad relationship. Although I guess you could change that. So maybe you have a disability. Maybe you're living in poverty. But Sartre would say, is like, you own those facts because you choose to live with them. You could always commit suicide, okay? So commit suicide or accept the facts of your life. And once you accept the facts of your life, they are, by virtue of your choice, yours. You own your life. And Sartre took this to hardcore levels. Sartre wrote during World War II and would oftentimes tell stories of students that would come to him and say, like, I've been drafted to go fight in the war. And Sartre would say, like, you choose to go to that war, it's your war. You don't have to be drafted. You can kill yourself. But if you choose to not kill yourself and instead go to this war and fight in this war, it's your war. You own it, okay? He would even say the same thing about slavery. Say, you're a slave? That's your slavery. Yes, I'm not saying it's justifiable or it's fair that somebody has done this to you. But the fact that you're not killing yourself to eliminate this circumstance means that you own this, okay? It's your Holocaust. So think about what Sartre's saying here. Sartre's saying, I agree with the determinists that events occur, but I also agree with the libertarians that we get to make some choices about what else will occur. And those choices are choices that we will. We make those decisions about cantaloupe and pineapple. And then here comes Sartre and says, wait a second, folks, I'll take you one step further. You accepting to continue your existence with all of these events and circumstances that you're having to contend with is, by definition, you choosing those things. You chose them because you had another choice to make. You could bail on the whole show and say, I'm done with it. This war no longer exists because I'm no longer going to exist. My Holocaust no longer exists because I'm no longer going to exist. Okay? So Sartre was hardcore. And one of the things that Sartre is implying here is that our will is really important. Our ability to choose, to be an agent of things. But of course, that should force us to reflect a little bit. What is this will that I think I have? I toss around this term free will. What's this thing that's free? What does it mean to will something into existence, right? So you think about the determinists. They're saying that when I reach out to grab this can of water, they're saying like, well, that happened, that event occurred because of all the events preceding that moment. But Sartre and other libertarians are saying, no, there's some impulse that rose up from within you that caused you to reach your arm out and grab that can. What exactly is that? I can feel it, right? I feel myself making this choice, reaching down, grabbing the can and bringing it up, and I could take a sip if I wanted to. And it's almost like I feel this will, but what exactly is that? And what exactly is it to say that it's free, right? Because I'm going to reach down and grab the can of water because I'm thirsty, and I didn't choose to be thirsty. So am I really freely choosing the water? And what if somebody has a gun to my head and says, pick up that can of water and take a sip? Am I really free when I make that choice? Sartre would say, yeah. He says you could always just not choose to pick up the can, and you've made another choice, which is to allow this person to shoot you. Now, importantly, and this is what I really want you to start thinking about, is how are all of these questions about free will and determinism, how are they related to how you think about who you are and the meaning of your life? Right? So I think I would argue to you that I believe, right? That's not what you have to believe. I tend to believe that who I am and who others are is indicated by the choices we make. The choices we make reflect the values we hold. The choices we make reflect our goals, our desires, our fears. And the choices we make have at least some, Sartre would say, all, impact on what our life means and what it looks like and who we are as people. So that's what I want you to think about. If you agree with the determinists, then maybe these questions are irrelevant, okay? But if you think that we have some agency, if you think we have some free will, what is the relationship between your will, the choices you make, and who you are as a person, your identity, your sense of self?